Did you know that becoming a Tennessee notary public actually gives you the legal authority to solemnize marriages? It's absolutely true. By just adding an official seal to your professional toolkit, you could open up entirely new avenues for your career and your income. Here in Tennessee, the demand for trusted officials to oversee crucial legal, financial, and real estate transactions is, quite frankly, off the charts. Becoming a notary public isn't just about stamping pieces of paper, right? It's about holding a position of public trust that literally empowers you to facilitate life-changing events for your clients and your community. So, if you've ever wondered how to step into this role, well, you are in the perfect place. Consider this explainer your ultimate step-by-step guide to navigating the whole process and launching your brand new career path as a Tennessee notary public.
Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we're breaking down exactly how to become a commissioned notary in the volunteer state. Now, I know it can sometimes feel like navigating a giant bureaucratic maze, but don't worry, I'm going to guide you through every single requirement, the costs, and even those quirky local rules you really need to know about. By the time we finish up here, you're going to have a crystal clear roadmap to securing your commission.
So here's our exact path for today. First up, eligibility requirements. Second, the application process. Third, training and examination. Fourth, commissioning and oath of office. And finally, your responsibilities and obligations.
All right, Section 1, eligibility requirements, passing the threshold. Before you spend a single dime or fill out a form, we need to make absolutely sure you actually qualify under Tennessee law. The baseline requirements here are fairly straightforward. You've got to be at least 18 years old, a U.S. citizen or a legal permanent resident, and you need to be able to read and write in English. You also need a clean background. So specifically, no convictions for bribery, larceny, or offenses involving fraud, unless your citizenship rights have been legally restored. But hey, here's a really fascinating detail. You don't necessarily have to live in Tennessee to be a Tennessee notary. No way, right? If you reside in a neighboring state but you maintain your principal place of business within a Tennessee county, you are fully eligible to apply right in that specific county. Moving right along to Section 2, application process. Navigating the bureaucracy. Once you know you're eligible, it's time to tackle the actual application.
Now, a quick warning for you. Tennessee has 95 different counties, and because this whole process is handled at the local county level, localized nuances are absolutely guaranteed. You'll be dealing directly with your local county clerk. The standard timeline goes a little something like this. Step 1, you submit your application and a $12 state fee to your county clerk. Simple enough. But step 2 is where Tennessee gets kind of unique. Unlike other states where the governor just rubber stamps your application, in Tennessee, you must actually be elected to the office of notary public by your county's legislative body. That's usually the county commission. Then, once they elect you, step 3 requires you to secure a $10,000 surety bond. Now keep in mind, this bond isn't insurance for you. It's actually a financial guarantee to protect the public from any honest mistakes you might make. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how this local democratic process impacts your application timeline. Take a look at this real-world example from Loudoun County. Because you have to be elected by the county commission, Loudoun County strictly requires that your application and fee be received by the 20th of the month. If you happen to miss that deadline, well, you have to wait an entire month for the next county commission meeting to even be voted on. So always check your specific county's meeting schedule so your application doesn't get stuck in limbo.
So, what does this all mean for your wallet? What's the total financial investment? Honestly, it's incredibly reasonable. You've got the $12 application fee, the $10,000 surety bond, which usually only costs you between $45 and $100 out of pocket, a custom notary seal for about $20 to $50, and an optional but highly recommended journal for $15 to $30. All in, you're looking at an investment of roughly $117 to $217. But just remember, local fees can vary slightly depending on how you pay. To put that into perspective, over in Knox County, if you apply using a credit or debit card, the total upfront clerk fee is exactly $17.43, and that's just because of a small card processing fee and a $5 oath fee.
Okay, Section 3, training and examination, myths versus facts. Let's clear the air here because there is a massive misconception floating around about mandatory tests for Tennessee notaries. Here's the deal. If you're applying for a traditional notary commission, meaning you'll be meeting signers face-to-face with a good old-fashioned pen and ink, Tennessee law does not require any mandatory state training or exam whatsoever. Literally none. Now, educational courses are highly recommended just to protect yourself from liability, for sure, but they aren't legally required. However, if you want to become a remote online notary, or RON for short, the rules completely flip. For Iran, the state explicitly requires you to take an approved online course, pass a mandatory exam, and pay a separate $75 application fee.
To upgrade to a remote online notary, you can't just start doing it on day one. It's like a step-by-step ladder. You must first hold an active traditional commission. Then, you've got a contract with an approved third-party technology provider. Think of platforms like secured signing, DocuSign, or Notarize. You have to use software that features two-way audio-video communication and strict knowledge-based authentication. Basically, you have to digitally verify a stranger's identity before the state will even think about granting your RON commission.
All right, Section 4, Commissioning and Oath of Office, the transformation. Assuming you've been elected by your county commission and your bond is purchased, you're now at the final administrative hurdle. This is your physical transformation into a public official. After your county election, your paperwork heads up to the state level, where the governor actually signs your commission. But hold your horses, you aren't done yet. You must physically go back to your local county clerk's office. You'll hand them your $10,000 surety bond so they can record it. Then, the big moment. You'll raise your right hand and take the constitutional oath of office, swearing to discharge your duties without favor or partiality. And only then will the clerk hand you your official commission certificate. So, the crucial point is this. Do not jump the gun. Even if you know the county commission voted for you, even if you enthusiastically bought your stamp online early, you are not a notary yet. Performing any official notarial act before you have filed your bond and taken that oath is a Class C misdemeanor in the state of Tennessee. So, patience is definitely key here. Finally, Section 5, Responsibilities and Obligations, the return. With your certificate and your official supplies in hand, it is officially time to get to work. Let's look at the day-to-day duties and the strict ethical obligations you're now bound to uphold. As a commissioned notary, you are legally authorized to perform some incredibly powerful acts. You can take acknowledgments on property deeds, administer legal oaths, and take affidavits and depositions. And as we mentioned right at the start of this explainer, here is one of the most unique and exciting perks. You are legally authorized to solemnize marriages. You can literally officiate weddings anywhere within the state boundaries. How cool is that? But when you're performing these duties, you have to use an official seal. And Tennessee has a highly specific and honestly slightly strange rule about this. Your seal must be an inked rubber stamp. Those old school embossed impression seals, they are no longer valid on their own. And get this, the ink color can be any color. Actually, scratch that. It can't be just any color. It can be any color except black or yellow. I know, right? Most notaries end up using dark blue, dark green, or purple. The only real catch is that the ink must be dark enough that it copies as black on a standard scanner. Another major day-to-day responsibility involves record keeping. The law here, specifically under TCA 8-21-1201, is very specific. If you or your employer charge a fee for your notary services, you are legally mandated to keep a record of that act in a well-bound book or a secure electronic journal. However, if you performed notarization for free, no journal record is legally required. Now, practically speaking, keeping a journal for every single transaction is highly, highly recommended, just to protect yourself against future lawsuits. But the actual legal mandate, that's entirely tied to whether money changes hands. It's also important to remember that your commission is a living credential with a strict 4-year life cycle. From day one, you are responsible for maintaining it. If you move out of your commissioning county or change your name due to marriage or divorce, you must notify the clerk and pay a little $7 processing fee. And as you approach year 4, counties like Shelby County strongly recommend beginning your renewal process at least 10 weeks prior to expiration. If your commission expires, you must stop notarizing immediately. Acting on an expired commission is, you guessed it, another Class C misdemeanor. So wrap things up, a quick but very important reminder. The information provided in this explainer is strictly for educational purposes. Laws and local county rules do change over time, so always check the latest guidelines directly with your local county clerk or consult a legal professional. But I want to leave you with this thought. As our world goes increasingly digital, the need for trusted, verified human oversight is higher than ever before. Whether it's officiating a joyous wedding or preventing fraud on a $1 million real estate deal, are you ready to become the vital safeguard your community relies on?